So you're probably wondering, why have we just seen the most horrid, the most vile, and the most disgusting tier list of your life in the thumbnail of this video? Welcome to the real video now. This is the definitive tier list of Forsaken patch 2.3.2. This video is all factual and absolutely no bias whatsoever into the ranking of both survivors and killers. These characters will be ranked accordingly to the words shown up on screen right now. Now first, let's start off with Elliot's. Okay, so Elliot has way too many fucking pros. Like, not like too many, but like they're good quality pros, you know. So with that being, he's the current best support in game with his burst healing. He can also see highlight the survivors that got damaged by killers due to his passive, and his rush hour ability saves his ass if used properly. His only cons is that he has a 80 health. 80 health, yeah, 80 health. And it can be like very detrimental if like you throw your game. Like a really fucking bad throw. And he's a support. His pros easily outweigh his cons, but it's just that you need to have a good amount of playtime, a good amount of knowledge in the game to play any support properly and not get bullied in chat for every pixel you miss or like fucking dying at the first 35 seconds of the game because like every support you're the killer's main target in every round and it's more fucking prevalent if you're Elliot. So if you get better as an Elliot and play around that fact, you're going to win 90% of your matches. So with this, we're gonna put him at S tier because of how much value he brings to the survivor team and how annoying he can be for killers and all that. So moving on to Shedletsky, he has a pretty simple to understand kit and to counter as well. So it's really perfect for any new player that wants to play Sentinel for the first time. So his pros are that he has a easy to hit stun, which is his sword, and it stuns for 3 seconds, which is a really good time. He also has a good self-sustain with his chicken, which heals like a maximum amount of 40 HP. And like probably his best pro is that he's really easy to play. So moving on to his cons, you will only use like one brain cell while playing Shedletsky because like he's that fucking easy to like play, and you'll grow a mindset, like a hive mind mindset while playing Shedletsky. Like, do you know the fucking one TikTok where like a guy kicks a ball into the air and like the dogs like try catching it and they all fucking fall, like they fucking fail miserably. That's like Shedletsky whenever they like try to fucking hit a stun. And his other con is that he needs to be close to hit his stun because he's a melee character, and his chicken is overtime healing, and it can be cancelled as well by the killer if they hit him, and only has 2 uses per round, so that's pretty bad if I might say so myself. So moving on, Shesky has a no, he actually had like a pretty big fall from grace over the period of these patches, nerfing him here and there, but like overall, he's still like a really good and really viable survivor against good killers. You just have to be like really careful when playing the Sentinel, or you won't get as much values from his skills. His 3 second stun is like what really makes him a good character to play, despite all of his fucking nerfs, and he still heals a good amount of its like HP with his chicken. So overall, this puts Shedletsky like around lowest S or high A tier because of how easy he is to use and get value off in a round. But he still has some pretty bad shortcomings as a sentinel. So next up on our list we have Noob. This guy's like the first survivor you'll ever play when you first log on to Forsaken. But I'm gonna be honest right fucking now. This guy is probably the like number one reason why most new players quit because of how like badly they think of his kit. Like in their heads, they're fucking Noob's kit fucking sucks. But he has a really good kit overall for survivalist, and it's something you can't really like use to full potential when you're a fucking noob. His pros is that he has very good LMS, and if you use noob well, you're almost guaranteed to win LMS. But people are already starting to like how like they're already starting to like learn how to counter noob. So and then he can also be like tanky because of his slate skin potion, and he's really good at extending chases. But his cons are that all his kills have more than 1 second wind up, and his best skills, being Soda Can and Slate Skin Potion, you can only use a shit like twice in a round, and you aren't fully invisible when using Ghost Burger. So, Noob, in my opinion, he's kind of boring as someone who mains 77, but that's really just me. But I can really see how much potential he has with his kit and why he's so high in so many people's tier lists, because he does his job really well as a survivalist, and he's really on par with 77. And other than that, I don't really have much to say with noob, aside from like the fact that if you fight against a good noob in LMS as killer, you already like fucking lose, cause like he's just that good. So overall, I'm giving him 8 here because yeah. Now next up we have two time. Oh boy. This guy was such a fucking bum ass survivalist to use before his rework. But like now, after his rework, he became like the best sentinel in the game to use. So his pros are he can launch far with his stuns. Like not really far, but a good amount of distance whenever he crouches, which is something that Guest already does with his punch, but like without the need of a parry. His crouch also makes him undetectable. His like all his stabs variant as well give him lifesteal, while also having resistance with his wind up animation on top of that. And if he deals enough damage, he can respawn, which is fucking crazy, cause that gimmick makes him so broken on top of being a fucking sentinel as well. But he still has some cons, but like not really that bad, being him having 80 health only, and the respawn making you still lose timer. But that's pretty fair, not gonna lie. But two time got bumped up so high into the meta after his rework that I don't really have to say anything much, like other than his pros and cons, because like it's gonna be glazed at that point, and I don't wanna fucking glaze two time. So yeah, he does what other sentinels do, but like way better, and can be really self-sufficient without the need of support by his side. So just for this reason alone, like I'm putting him on S tier next to Elliot. Now moving on to guest, I have a lot to say for this guy. This guy used to be so highly thought of for being one of the hardest sentinel slash survivors to use properly back in the day, and he was really good to use if used correctly. But then reworked two time released, and that all of the fucking glaze just went downhill. So moving on to his pros, he's the only survivor to have 115 HP. He has resistance in all of his skills, and he takes hit priority, which is something that other survivors don't have, and he has a decent stun. But his cons is that he has a high risk mid reward gameplay, shortest stun in the game, and he takes hit priority. So yeah, fucking Guess used to be so glazed before, but now he's not all that anymore because people learn how to play around his kit. Because even if you're milestone 4 with Guest, you can still get your shit rocked because he's just not that good anymore. His parry isn't really a parry, I'd say, and it's really more of like a predict. Because if you're playing against a John Doe, I guess, then you really have to like predict if the killer's M1 will hit you. But you can still have this fucking major inconvenience of the killer missing their shit by accident or even just by a fucking sliver, and you're just going to end up complaining how your block didn't get hit. It's just that as of right now, Guess just feels so miserable to play, but he's still a good survivor slash sentinel. But with the things I've said about Guest, I'm gonna put him on B tier just cause of how excruciating his gameplay can be. Next up, we have 7 and 7. He's probably like, the best survivalist to use because of like how much you can spam his clones, especially with the gray skin. That's like quite literally a must use. A reason why I find him better than Noob is that you don't really have to like try hard as much with 7 and 7 as you do with Noob, because like you have to put like so much effort into using Noob's kit to actually use it to its full potential. But anyways, moving to 7 and 7's pros, we have the spammable clones, which has a cooldown of like 20 seconds, and a literal TP skill, and switching between modes with clones. So this allows for like more mix-ups, I guess. And his other pro is that the skin that turns him gray makes him like 80% more effective. I don't know why they make something like that, because a full gray is like so hard to see, especially when like you're invis. His cons though is that here lies tricking the killer in chase, which works like 50% of the time, and he has no other skill to use in chase aside from his clones. So yeah, that's really it for his cons. But he's still a really good fucking survivalist, bruh. Like in Last Man Standing with 7 and 7, you literally already have like a 70% win rate if you're far enough from the killer, because you can just use your clones and you can't be highlighted. Then you just do your TP and then boom, you're already like far away from the killer. But you still need like a good amount of looping and dodging to actually win that last man standing, and you have to know as well when to use the clones properly, so you can actually like trick the killer. But overall though, he's a really good character to use. It's just that he's a survivalist, and his skills only really benefit him. And this tier list is supposed to be like how much can a survivor bring to the team. You should only really play 7 and 7 when you want to play him for fun or that your teammates fucking suck. So with this, I'm putting him on highest A tier. Next up, we have Builderman. So this video is getting way too long, so we're gonna skip to his pros and cons immediately. His first pro is that his sentries interrupt chases, so if the killer gets caught up in sentry range, they either gotta go back and destroy the sentry, or leave the sentry as is and lose distance away from the survivor they're trying to chase. So having a skill that forces the killer to make a choice can really support your teammates in the chase, and having a dispenser can make the Builderman the only support that can heal himself, and a good placement can ruin the killer's day. Moving on to his cons, you lose last man standing no matter what. If you're being targeted first quarter of the game, it's already a loss if nobody's helping you. And his third con is that he's a support. So Builderman really relies on his placements on a sentry, and if his teammates can actually like, run around them for it to actually serve its purpose. If none of those is that applied in a round, then those sentries are just like map decoration at this point. I get that he's like a support, but he's so reliant on his teammates to run around those sentries. Like, I really can't fucking stress it enough. Like, I keep saying that because he really needs that to fucking happen, or else he's just fucking useless. His dispenser is okay too. It's like overtime healing, but then his overtime healing so that's bad too. But like at least it's like unlimited, unlike Elliot's in a way. But you just really need a good team to actually like play with Builderman if you want to like bring value to his kit. But all that being said, he's low A tier. Next up we have Chance. I don't really got much to say about Chance aside from like the fact that he's like quite inconsistent. But that's what make him fun to play because of like gambling and all that. So next up his pros is that he has a long range stun, which is his gun. He also has a he can also have a higher basic speed than 100 through his reroll ability, and he has abilities that can mitigate the effects of bad luck. His cons though is that he's very inconsistent, but like not too inconsistent in a way. It's just inconsistent there, but you'll know when you play him. He's also vulnerable while gambling. His gun can backfire or do nothing, which is like very inconvenient. And like the time you need the gun to like work most. And the killer can hear whenever you roll something bad or good, depending on its range or like how far he is from you or near. But like Chance is probably one of the best sentinels to play right now. Like despite all of his cons, just through his gun alone, because saving his team from a long range is one of the jobs that Chance is the best at. Because you just really have to play around this gambling gimmick to see how much he shines in game. But Chance is one of the most fun survivors to play solely because of his gambling mechanic that makes you take risks outside of like chases. So even when you're not in chase and like you're just waiting for his gun to come back on cooldown, you just gamble. That's like that's really fun for me. I don't know why, but just because of his done alone and the things he can provide for himself through his like gambling and all that, I'm giving him mid S tier. Next up, we got dusekkar. So first of all, his pros is that he has long range abilities, which can help his team from afar, and you can't hear his footsteps. I don't think it counts as a pro though, because like it's kind of useless at times, but I guess it helps sometimes. I don't know. But his con is that he is the most teammate reliant survivor. He's map dependent. His abilities can only provide support for others and not himself. And if your teammates suck, you just lose the game already. And if you have like bad aim on top of that, just back it up, bro. Just back it up. Just back it up. But then again, Dusukar really suffers a lot when you're first playing him because you don't know about all of the major and minor inconveniences that come with playing with him. So the most prevalent one are teammates running to your direction while trying to shield them. So when that fucking happens, I fucking die because of that. I just wanna fucking choke them through their fucking screen and just bang their fucking head on their keyboard, and then I go back to their like grinding his milestone 4. But Dusekkar is really just one of those survivors that you have to like suffer playing as. Like you don't have any ability that helps you in the chase aside from like turning on your voice chat and like asking for help. But mastering Dusekkar makes the killer have such a bad day. But then again, he's also really map dependent as well, which can put you at risk in half of your games. But overall, he's high as B tier, but he's still a good support to play though. For the last survivor in our list, we have Taph. He's like niche as fuck. He's so fucking niche because like he's a trapper and all that, and like you know how trappers are in most games, they aren't really that good. Like Taph is not that good. I'm gonna say it right now. So his pros is that he has a bomb that can detonate and can like put helpless on the killer. But that's really his own. Actually, no, he has another pro. Actually, it's just his other ability can like so that the killer and like highlight where he is to other survivors. But like that's it. That's it. That's all of his pros. His other con is that actually no, his cons is that he's severely map dependent. Like you, if you play Planet Boss and you're playing Taph, you have like a hard time like setting up his traps and all that and his bomb. It's just really hard to play Taph and put as much value into him as you can do easier with other survivors. But then I don't know why he exists, man. Oh my god, I'm just gonna yap through this shit because like Taph is like kind of the worst survivor to play right now because he's just so niche. But then again, he's kind of fun because like you can make things explode on the killer. Well, that's really it for this thing. He's just lowest B tier. Now we're moving on to the part of the video with the killers, the killers, the killers, the killers. So first up we have Jason, of course. Moving on to his pros. So his pros is that he's the least map dependent killer. He has a fast M1 windup and a short M1 cooldown. He also has the smallest terror radius. All of his abilities have fast windup. He has almost unlimited stamina, and he can be immune to all stuns. But then his cons is that he has no range abilities whatsoever, and his ESP ability can only show one survivor at a time, and he is a single target based killer, which can be pretty hard to play around. So Jason is like one of those killers you think suck at first, but as you gain more experience in the game and witness your first muscle for Jason like crush your booty in game, it makes you wonder if this guy should really be a free killer or not. Because Jason really just portrays the role of a single target killer like the best way possible. Because if you play Jason and you disregard his role as a single target killer, you indirectly punish yourself if you go for multiple people at a time. Another thing about Jason is that at the start of the round, you're almost already guaranteed to land like one gashing wound on a survivor, because whoever you hit with a gashing wound is probably already a confirmed kill. He like catches up to survivors really easily, but then he suffers a lot if the team you're playing against is like coordinated and they have a raging pace and cooldown. Like you can't really do much playing against a team above your skill level, aside from like being the support's worst nightmare. So if you prioritize supports first as a Jason, you can already get a big advantage in the round. So with all that being said, I'm gonna put him at A tier. Next up, we got Cool Kid. This guy's probably one of the most satisfying killers to play because of how fast you can get money and XP while playing him. He's also a fast killer too, and a rushdown on top of that. Now moving on to his pros, he has the most damage potential out of all of the killers. All of his main damaging moves have little to no wind up. He has auto tracking minions, he has two burn applying moves, and he has a whole ass punish combo for sentinels that miss their stun. So his cons, however, is that he has no ESP. He has 800 HP, so you can die if the lobby is full of 2 times 10 chances. He's also a linear killer, and his main damaging move can punish you in chases severely if you miss. Cool Kid's probably like the easiest killer alongside Jason to play. You can't really go wrong with him, but if I'm gonna be honest, he has the lowest kill ceiling out of the most of the killers because you can do so much with Cool Kid, but you will reach a wall to what you can do with him. But he's still really good for a killer. But there's only so much you can do with him aside from the sliding tech. But Cool Kid is so easy to play against. Like, you know those characters in games that are so good in lower ranks but fall off so hard in high ranks? That's literally Cool Kid if I can put more words to properly describe him. But overall though, I'm gonna put him in B tier. Now we got John Doe. I'm gonna skip straight to his pros. He can manipulate the map with his abilities. He can change how chase routes can go in a way that benefits him the most using his spikes and traps. He can stop people from fixing certain generators using his traps. He can get speed 1 as well after someone gets on his trap, and it gives that person Sonus 2 and corruption debuff on top of that, and also highlights them on the map. His corruption trail is also good chip damage passive. Um, he also has a short. He has the shortest stun duration out of all the killers, and he gets speed 1 for a short amount of time. He also has instant 28 and 1 damage, so no overtime crap like that. So his cons though is that you need to use brain cells in order to like properly play him. He's the most map dependent killer, so Planet Voss and Pirate Bay are his worst maps to play on. It doesn't do too well with chases, but I guess learning how to use spike walls can help you play around that thingy. But also his moves are all loud. Like, it also has long wind up, including his M1, and it can get stunned. He can get stunned while putting down his spikes because of the long wind up. So currently the big question with John Doe is he worth all the glaze? 50-50 I guess. Like, you can talk all the big talk about John Doe, like how he has like the biggest um killer skill ceiling and you can't lose with him. But then play him on Planet Voss and Pirate Bay, you're gonna fucking rip a hair out. Like, John Doe's sole job to manipulate the map can guarantee him so much kills if you can control the spikes right and know where to place his traps in a situation that can benefit you the most. Like, he's the second best killer, but in my opinion, he can also be on par with 1x. It's just that you have to put more effort into playing John Doe properly, and I don't really like try harding much in Forsaken as well. Like, I just want easy wins and call it a day, and then pat myself on the back for winning easily. Like, if only there was a killer like that. But John Doe is easily top A tier. Like, even despite the negative things I've said about him, he can be so versatile if you can get creative with his abilities. Now, last killer, 1x. 1x! 1x! Ah! Yes, 1x! 1x! So his pros is that all his main damaging moves are semi-fast, long-range abilities. He can apply Glitch, which can make you take more damage on the next hit. He has the highest burst damage in the game. He has an ESP move that gives speed 1 for like 10 seconds. His minions can auto-track if Survivor is near enough. And he can kill minions and then get speed 1 and then stack it up. But then the max stacks is speed 3. Now, moving on to his cons. Survivors can hear mass infection being winded up from like across the whole map, which gives them leeway to dodge. They can also look back at you in chase and see if you're gonna use entanglement and just dodge it. 1x is also so super reliant on predicting the direction of survivors. He also can't aim his abilities up or down. All his main damaging moves are skill shots, so you need to aim to play him properly, and his ESP can also blind you for a longer duration than the speed one lasts. So basically, undoubtedly, 1x is the best killer to use in Forsaken. Like, sure, he has his cons here and there, but it's not a super big gap from other killers, or using 1x already gives survivors the disadvantage. It's just that 1x performs just a bit better and excels in more situations than other killers. And he's also like easier to use than John Doe and Jason. But that begs the question, does 1x need a nerf?
No. Don't nerf 1x, don't nerf 1x.
Because most characters in Forsaken are like fine as they are. Like 1x is just that good if you can aim properly, right? But then again, that goes like for every other killer. So I'm putting 1x at SDA. Yay, SDA, SDA, yay, SDA killer, yay! Because it's just that good to use. So that's the end of this video. I'll share it now. Is the tier list. But just keep in mind, these characters aren't better than the other. They just excel in most situations, and yeah, that's practically it. Anyways, that's it for the video. I'm gonna play my 1x clip. My 1x win on the video. Goodbye.